Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is set to release on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC on June 30th. And today we're going to be checking out something really cool, and that's the fact that Capcom went ahead and dropped two separate longer extended look gameplay clips for Espinas. So we're going to be able to check out not just some of the moves that we didn't necessarily get to see in the original review trailer, we're also going to get to see a couple of interesting new armor sets from Master Rank, and of course we're also going to be able to check out just how he moves about in the map, since he's now using both fire and poison abilities at the same time. So as far as the Master Rank Hunter wearing armors we're seeing here, we're seeing a Malzeno Master Rank armor with a great sword. You're seeing a Luna Garen longsword user. You're seeing a Garen Golem Master Rank armor user with a heavy bowgun. And the fourth and final armor, I think, is the more interesting one. This one also showed up in the Gore Magala gameplay clips that I posted just a few days ago. And this is essentially Sophia's Master Rank armor, one of the guild arms, and a Caravaneer from Monster Hunter 4. So this armor is now going to be something that you can actually wear, and they're using it here specifically with a charge blade as well. So right away you get to see Espinas kind of do his shout, screen shakes a little bit. You get to see the hunters kind of try to go in, but they can't, as the howl is just a little bit too great. One of the things that I did notice right away as well is that he is massive. Now remember, he fights a little bit like a Diablos, but the size is like massive. So this is something that you're going to pay attention to in multiple of the clips that we're going to be going over. When it comes to the first attack, they actually get to see it's a pretty simple vertical attack with his mouth. Essentially, he's just going to move side to side and then eventually automatically just kind of get his mouth situated to a spot where he's just going to be able to take a bite of whoever is standing right in front of him. Then right after that, he's going to switch his attack directly into just a basic fireball, which is what it looked like originally. But then when you see the hunter get hit by the fire blast, you then notice that he's actually poisoned right away. And this is basically Espina's like big trick. Essentially all of his fire attacks automatically give you poison, so it's double elemental, both fire and poison at the same time. So you're constantly going to notice throughout all these clips that whenever you get hit by fire, you're constantly just going to be poisoned. So you're going to want to deal with antidotes or an anti-poison type of a skill. Essentially negate poison is pretty much going to be mandatory if you're going to be dealing with this guy constantly, since every single one of his attacks is just going to be constantly giving you poison. And of course you get to see that poor hunter, after he starts to get up slowly, automatically Espinas kind of just dashes forward, jumps up in the air, and then just pounces down with his feet. Nothing necessarily special about this attack, but he just automatically is just pouncing down onward on you, just ready to mess you up a little bit. In the next clip, we actually get to see the beginning of a hunt, and this is something that they mentioned and touched upon originally in the trailer, and that's the fact that he's going to be sleeping most of the time. This is a pacifist monster most of the time, based on the descriptions that we've gotten from basically the lore of him, that he's not necessarily constantly just wanting to fight all the time, but if he is messed with, he's definitely going to be upset and pissed off a little bit, so he's going to go off. So you see the hunters kind of like welling on him a little bit, waking him up, and then automatically just getting into an enraged state. This is something that you actually get to see when he does another howl right there in the other clip, and essentially he's really upset. You get to see not only his wings begin to glow, but his face begins to glow orange, as well as the back of his neck, and you see his mouth kind of like begin to have a little bit of a purple mist. Reminds me a lot of Camellios, but he's pretty much ready to poison anyone who gets near him if he ever catches you with one of his fire attacks. In the subsequent clip, you actually get to see him dashing forward. This is one of those very similar, kind of like Diablos or Monoblos type of attacks, where he just puts his horn down, directly just charges forward, stops, does a 180, turns around and directly targets another hunter, and then goes directly for that person. The catch here is that if he does catch you, because that horn is essentially the first thing that is going to hit you, you're going to get sent flung into the air, and then you're automatically going to notice that you're going to get poisoned, because if he catches you with the horn, or if he catches you with one of those fire blasts, you're constantly going to keep getting poisoned, as I mentioned before. This is something that you also see in the subsequent clip right after that, where he's standing on his hind legs, wings are up in the air, he's kind of just shouting and tossing fireballs all about, and he catches the hunter midair, who's doing a silkbind attack to kind of like get up close to him, And if you see the image, like as the fire blast is like spreading outward as if it hits the hunter, this is why I slow it down so you guys can see it a little better. You not only get to see the fire particles kind of like spread all over the place, but the poison powdery mist as well. So you get to see not only are you getting hit with fire elemental, but you're also getting hit with poison at the same time, which is extremely deadly. You get to see all the hunters gonna get caught up in that same blast, so it's gonna be one of those you're certainly gonna want to avoid. In the next attack, he does another one of those just swipe horn attacks. Very basic. Diablo does the same thing. But again, because he's hitting you with that horn, you're instantly getting poisoned. So not only do you get tossed back, he automatically charges the hunter forward. And then he does another horn attack. But this time it's not a side swipe from right to left, but instead it's down upwards. So you get flung up into the air on top of the fact that you already got comboed before. So you got poisoned. Now you got another poison stack again. So presumably it's just gonna stay on longer, and it's just one of those things where like this is master rank, this is not gonna be messing around. You're gonna be taking huge chunks of damage, and then the fact that you're mid-air kind of like rolling around once you land, all that time that poison is just ticking away. So you're gonna be pretty much in a bad situation if you get continually comboed like that. In the last clip, you're gonna notice him kind of just turn around and back up a little bit and just begin to toss 3 separate fireballs into the floor, and the fire begins to just kind of burn in those specific spots. And then you instantly see that from the fire itself, you see the purple little poison glow, essentially just like mist coming out of the fire. So you step into those, instant poison automatically. Not that big of like confusing thing. You just want to avoid all his fire attacks and his horns at 100% of the time, because they're pretty much the deadliest attacks that he has. Even if he does hit you with those charge attacks where he's not tossing fireballs around or poison, even if he catches you with one of those, because he's hitting you with the horn, automatically he's probably going to poison you. Now the only question that I do have, and this is something that I don't quite remember since it's been quite a long time since I fought him back in Frontiers, and that's the fact that I'm not sure if his tail is going to also poison you as well. So if he does sideswipe you with the tail, presumably that's also going to be another way for him to be able to get poisoned. I think it would make a lot of sense, but I don't quite remember, so I don't want to make those claims just yet. But again, just looking at all these gameplay clips and just the fact that he's going to be a menace with that poison all the time, it just makes it seem like it's going to be one of those really daunting fights, especially once you're like, remember, you're going to be starting out master rank. Your high rank armors aren't really going to help you carry all that much. And presumably wherever they put him up in the story, whether he's actually one of the beginning monsters or later on, it's going to be one of those really interesting ones where we're just going to have to see how geared up you already are by the time you actually get to fight this guy. And if you're going to have be able to have enough defense and enough ability slots to be able to kind of slot in good enough abilities to kind of just avoid some of his more dangerous attacks. We're just going to have to wait and see. But that's about all the information that I wanted to go over with you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.